My name is Jack. I thought the old woman outside the notary's office was confused. She grabbed my sleeve and whispered one sentence that refused to leave my mind. Don't sign anything your daughter Lena and her husband give you. Go to their house and look under the bed. I laughed and walked away. But that night I could not sleep. Lena had been acting differently for weeks. Her husband kept pushing me to sign papers as quickly as possible. The next morning, curiosity got the better of me. I unlocked the front door with the spare key they had given me years earlier. Minutes later, I pulled out a dusty wooden box hidden beneath their bed. What I found inside made my blood run cold and changed the way I looked at my own family forever. Stay until the end because the final truth is something I never saw coming. My name is Jack. I am 73 years old. After my wife passed away, my daughter Lena became the closest person in my life. She called almost every evening. She brought groceries every weekend and constantly reminded me that family always comes first. I believed every word because she was my only child and I trusted her completely. My late wife and I had spent decades building a comfortable life. We owned our home outright, had retirement savings, and a small investment portfolio. She always reminded me that money could disappear, but trust once broken could never fully return. Several months after her passing, Lena suggested we update my legal paperwork. She said it was only to make things easier if I ever became ill. Her husband agreed and insisted it was simply responsible planning. They arranged an appointment with a notary and assured me there was nothing to worry about. The meeting seemed ordinary, but something felt strange. Lena answered most of the questions before I could speak. Her husband kept encouraging me to sign quickly because everyone was busy. The notary looked uncomfortable more than once but remained professional throughout the appointment. As I stepped outside, an elderly woman sitting near the entrance slowly approached me. She looked directly into my eyes and quietly said, "Don't sign anything Lena gives you. Go to her house and look under the bed." Then she walked away before I could ask her name. I smiled and dismissed the warning as nonsense. Yet those words echoed in my mind for the rest of the day. That evening I remembered several unusual conversations. Lena had suddenly become interested in my bank accounts. Her husband often asked about my investments and repeatedly suggested selling my house because it was too large for one man. By the following morning, I decided I needed answers. I still had the spare key Lena had given me years earlier to feed their dog whenever they traveled. The house was empty. I quietly walked through the hallway until I reached their bedroom. For a moment I almost turned back because searching someone else's room felt wrong. Then I remembered the old woman's warning. I knelt beside the bed and reached underneath. My hand touched a wooden box hidden against the wall. I slowly pulled it out. Inside were folders, photographs, a flash drive, handwritten notes, and several legal documents. The first document nearly stopped my heart. It was a draft agreement transferring ownership of my home after I signed another document giving Lena complete financial authority over my affairs. The next folder contained printed emails between Lena and her husband discussing how quickly they could sell my property once everything was under their control. Another envelope contained copies of medical records and notes suggesting I was beginning to lose my memory. No doctor had ever diagnosed me with dementia. Someone had clearly been building a false picture of my health. Then I discovered handwritten notes. One sentence was circled several times. "Once Jack signs everything, we can move forward immediately." My hands began shaking. Every family dinner, every kind word, and every hug suddenly felt different. I placed everything back exactly where I found it, but secretly photographed every page with my phone. Back home, I examined the flash drive. It contained scanned documents, financial plans, and voice recordings. One recording changed my life forever. Lena's husband laughed and said, "Once Jack signs the papers, we will own the house before he realizes what happened." After a long silence, Lena quietly replied, "I hate doing this, but we need the money. We cannot keep living like this." Those words broke my heart. I had spent my entire life protecting my daughter. Now she was planning to take away everything her mother and I had worked for. Instead of confronting them, I contacted an independent lawyer. He carefully reviewed every photograph and explained that although many of the papers were still drafts, they showed clear evidence that I should never sign anything without independent legal advice. He immediately updated my estate plan. He removed every unnecessary legal authority. He informed my bank that no document would ever be accepted without meeting me personally. Several days later, Lena invited me for dinner. She smiled exactly as she always had. Halfway through the meal, she casually asked whether I had signed the remaining paperwork. Without saying a word, I placed the printed photographs on the table. The room became completely silent. Her husband looked terrified. Lena burst into tears. Neither of them denied what they had planned. Her husband blamed overwhelming debt. Lena admitted she had convinced herself they would eventually take care of me after selling the house. I calmly stood up and told them they had already lost something far more valuable than money. They had lost my trust. I left without raising my voice. Over the following months, Lena repeatedly apologized. She ended every financial discussion with me and slowly worked to rebuild our relationship through honesty rather than excuses. I forgave her because she was still my daughter, but I never again allowed anyone to pressure me into signing papers I did not fully understand. Sometimes the greatest danger does not come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from the people you love the most. And sometimes one unexpected warning from someone you have never met is enough to save everything you spent your entire life building. I never saw that old woman again. I still do not know who she was or why she chose to warn me that day. Maybe it was chance, maybe it was fate. What I do know is that one quiet sentence saved my home, my savings, and my future. If this story teaches anything, it is this. Never sign documents you do not fully understand. Ask questions. Get independent legal advice. And never ignore your instincts when something feels wrong. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, share, and comment for more powerful family drama stories.